What's up, everyone? It's me, Ivan, and we're back in the beautiful Atlanta traffic. Just FYI, if you plan to move to Atlanta, don't. Just follow my advice and go anywhere else in the world but here. We are so full, and you're just gonna make everyone's lives more miserable by adding one car to this tiny ass highway that is just packed to the brim. And speaking of things that makes you miserable, there's one thing that has been grinding my asshole for the past 2 weeks. Now, let me give you a little bit of context. This is going to be in terms of Universal Orlando Resort, specifically the new theme park that they just opened called Epic Universe. So if you want to send this video to any influencer that's been complaining about the Epic Universe, please do so, because this video is specifically for them. So before I dive into why that's been grinding my gears for a minute, let me give you a little bit of context of why I'm making this video. So for anyone that didn't know, I'm a film editor. I've been working in the industry for about 12 years now, and sometimes, as with any other job, you kind of get tired a little bit, you kind of feel burned out, and it's like, dude, this is so insanely repetitive at this point. So you need a little bit of a spark, something to reignite that fire. For me, that is Universal. Because when I go and I experience the theme of movies and how immersive it is at Universal and Islands of Adventure, including Volcano Bay at some point, it just makes me feel like, yeah, you know what? This is why I make movies. So people feel specifically like this. They feel that magic, that movie magic. And it's good to revitalize that. So whenever I feel very burned out, I tend to go to Universal. And I've been very, very lucky and fortunate to be able to visit several Universal theme parks. Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, and Universal Japan. So, and every single one of them has its own little thing, its own little gems and jewels that I truly enjoy. So anyways, don't be like that asshole and without using the blinkers or any sort of indication, just cross the road, causing possibly an accident and now riding the ass of the car in front of him. Bitch, we are going literally 20 miles an hour on the highway. You're not gonna get home 2 hours before because you just crossed me. You might get home 2 seconds before. So anyways, just don't be an asshole when you're on the road like that asshole. And speaking of assholes, let's talk about the assholes that have been complaining on Epic Universe, creating a lot of bad press. Now, I'm not calling everyone that has been complaining, because a lot of criticisms have been 100% valid, but some others haven't. And I've seen that some influencers have definitely been way more inflammatory just for the sake of being inflammatory. Let's just create a lot of drama and incite negativity just for the sake of doing so. So anyways, the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that have been saying how Epic Universe is doomed to fail from the start because the rides are down, or they're doing the queue here but not here. Now this is an e-ticket, this is that. Let me just say it with one single phrase. The park is not open yet. The park is not open yet. But a lot of people have been really complaining about their experience at Epic Universe because they have experienced that the rides have been down, or that the shows have not been necessarily as well rehearsed, or this or that, or that the queue system here has been spotty and this hasn't worked and everything. And trust me, I get it. Going to a theme park, the last thing you want to do is to have like kind of a negative experience, right? But let me remind you, the park isn't open yet. The park is still on technical rehearsals. And I've seen plenty of people complain about the fact that, making a lot of complaints on Epic as if the park has already been open for longer than a year. And I've seen a lot of videos saying like, oh, Epic Universe is not ready, or why you shouldn't go to Epic Universe, why Epic Universe is not living up to the hype, how Epic Universe ruined itself, and all of this like negative press in which you're like, dude, the park is not open, first of all. And you cannot allow any theme park in general to be like a full marathon sprinter right off the womb. Like, yes, the park is open and it can be as ready as it needs to be when it opens, but only through trials and tribulations with people will it become the amazing thing that it will be. Yes, it will take time. Let's remind ourselves that when Disneyland opened, it was a disaster. Nothing worked. Absolutely nothing. It was it was a chaos when it opened. Very few rides did work. A lot of the shows had mistakes. There were like technical difficulties and everything. But people seem to forget that when a park opens, just like in any other business, you can be very ready for everything. Even with a lot of experience, there's still going to be things that you're never gonna know until you're actually there, until you see it, until you experience it. You take the bulk of so many people and all the variants and see how people are complaining or saying and everything. I've seen in real time how Universal has addressed a lot of like issues that people have had in terms of like some of the queue systems as well as some of the shading that people have been complaining about. And it's like, okay, so they're on the fly doing it. I've seen them actually fix mistakes like real time. And the park is not even open. In fact, it will be open in like when? In 6 days. And yes, a lot of people can say that the park is not ready to open because it's not functioning at a 100%. Well, let me fucking break the bubble to you and tell you that Santa Claus isn't real. Because even still today, if you go to Disney, if you go to Universal, Hollywood, Orlando, Disneyland, Japan, shit's still not at 100%. There's always going to be technical difficulties. There's always going to be some level of like, you can expect this to happen 100%. So I'm not saying that every single criticism of Epic Universe is unfounded, but I do think that it's very clickbaity and they just want to stir up some, because it's popular, and like theme park channels, they do compete for a very niche type of audience. So they want to be, the ones to say the new thing or to like really attract the viewer. And that's a trend on YouTube. You have to be inflammatory, you have to be shocking in order to attract the audience, because you want to attract that revenue, those clicks. Whether it's positive or negative, any sort of like interaction with the video, it's a good interaction in the eyes of revenue and the algorithm and everything. So I can see why they are doing it. You know, it's it's very clear. But I want to call it out and say that a lot of it seems to be in very bad faith. Because it sucks to say it, but the Green Goblin said it the best in Spider-Man 1. What people love the most of a hero is to see the hero fail. And for a while, the talk of the town is that Universal is taking Disney's lunch, you know, Disney World's lunch. So right now, obviously, all eyes are in Universal. And because of that, a lot of people, you know, instead of seeing a successful story, they want to see it fail. They want to see it, whether because they're Disney fanboys or they just hate Universal or because they just want the clicks, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's kind of sad to see what's going on, because I think they're putting bad expectations in the eyes of potential visitors, instead of saying something very normal like, hey, just FYI, if you come during the first year of operation, you might encounter a lot of technical difficulties. It might not be the best time because they're still tweaking, they're still refining stuff. No, they go, this is doomed to fail because they haven't addressed this in a week, even though the park is still technically on technical rehearsals. Like that's some bullshit, you know? So anyways, I just wanted to rant for a moment. Thank you so much for listening. And yes, I will give you more rants because I'm stuck in Atlanta traffic more often, and I will be bringing more reaction videos to content creator fan films or short films or proof of concepts, as well as my favorites right now, the Disney classics. So stay tuned, click the notification button, type in the comments, Ivan, you smell weird if you got to this part of the video, and I'll see you later. Bye.